Welcome back to Worth the Effort Woodworking and what I believe is going to be the biggest and best project you will ever see on this channel. At the end of 2019, as kind of my year wrap up, beginning 2020 kind of goals video, I told you that me and my dad were going to be combining shops. Now they have just finished building their downsized home. Sold their last home, built a much smaller home for themselves, and Dad has never had a shop all to himself. So the idea is they were going to build a separate shop right here, and then I would move everything in there and share rent with my dad. So a couple months ago we began clearing the lot, and this week Dad rented out a adult-sized Tonka toy, and we're going to kind of level and clear all this stuff, getting ready for the foundation, which is going to be started next week. And I'm going to bring y'all along on this because the whole idea is we are having a professional build the structure of the building, and we will be doing the entire finish out. And I think that's very much how a lot of people put shops in their backyards or convert a garage. An existing garage, you basically only have 3 walls and a door, so it's going to be the same situation. We're going to cover walling, wiring, AC, a little bit of plumbing, because this is going to be a 900 square foot building, and we are only going to be taking up 450 square feet of that one. Basically the size of my current shop that you see on videos. Me and Dad are going to share that space. The second half is going to be converted into a college student, a studio apartment, because this is a college town. Unfortunately, when we started planning on this, the pandemic hadn't hit right now, so we're not even sure if college students are going to be coming back to the town for live classes next year. So initial plan is I'm going to rent out also the studio apartment and share rent with my dad on the workshop, and that will help pay for it. And in the future, when I can go out and get a home in this area, because I've wanted to move back to the San Marcos area for a very long time, well, they'll have a steady income from college students in the area. But the plan is I'm going to have 2 series with this build. I'm going to have a dedicated educational build series, much like I've done on my channel for the past decade. How to install framing, the whole dedicated video on that, wall, AC, dust collection, everything you will be using to create your shop in compartmented, segmented subject matters so that people searching for that information can find it. And then I'm going to do something very uncomfortable for me. I am going to have a vlog series, and this being the first one, because the experience of building a shop is different than the segmented subjects, and that's what we're going to be coming on today. And we're starting out this first week, Dad and I playing with a Tonka truck. So come along and we'll see what we do with something neither of us has any experience or even right to be using, I guess. We're just kind of playing around. When we get into the finish out, we'll be doing more of the stuff we know what we're doing. The lot itself is only about an acre of land, but the reason why I'm so excited about sharing the shop is this will be the first time in over a decade I've had area that me and Dad can go ahead and harvest entire trees and bring sections of the trunk back up here. Not necessary for, milling into boards or something like that, but for bulk blank storage, for production woodworking, because that has been the biggest hang up we have, is that whenever I get a tree, I pretty much have to spend the next 2 weeks processing it. It would be very nice to be able to go snag a tree when they are available and let them sit a little while until we have time to get to them. But check out Dad rocking the Tonka toy. Obviously you enter up front, and it has a pretty good cage on top to protect you in case anything falls over, like maybe a tree you bumped into. I don't know why I'm saying that. It does have 2 controls right there. You're sitting there, and it operates like just a 0 turn lawnmower. Basically, 1 handle on either side, controlled forward and backwards for 1 side. So if you get these wheels going forward and the other wheels going backwards, that's how you can pivot in a circle. Each one of these handles has a bunch of controls on it. I don't know what those do. I assume it's for attachments if you aren't using a bucket right there. But how you operate the bucket are on these pedals, kind of like airplane pilots, rudders and stuff like that. Basically, this side makes the bucket go up and down. This side rotates it up and down like that. Now, I will say there is no fine control on these. It seems to be a switch. It's either going full speed up, full speed down. But you have to have and it shares hydraulics. So if you have them both working at the same time, it's slow. But if you release one of them, it goes really, really fast. Over here, just like a lawnmower, you kind of set your speed and forget about it. Up here, you have your start, stop, and all that kind of stuff. And up here is a little control to start it up. These are on a little keypad control. On this side is more instruments, and that right there is your hydraulics. So basically, to turn these things on, you come over here, you turn it to the on position. That little thing lights up, and you enter in a code, which, you know, if any 00 fans out there, they could have figured this one out fairly easily. Hit enter, there goes your dials. You come back over here, you turn it on. There are your RPMs. And down here, you turn on the hydraulics. So you gotta lower this. Safety thing. Then you can turn on the hydraulics. This foot. That foot. Left turn. Right turn. So we needed the Bobcat mainly to level out the area and clean it out, because we are going to be walking back here quite a bit. And if you're familiar with Texas Hill Country, you know, it's basically 2 to 3 inches of decomposed leaves and stuff like that. I'm not even going to call it topsoil. And then you have limestone, and it was very rough and stuff like that. So it's very easy to twist an ankle. So it's very good to go ahead and flatten it out while we had. But its main purpose was we were working to create a spot for the shop. And basically what we have right here is going to be a complete square, 900 square feet, dividing it down the middle. That side is going to be the apartment, so that it's separated from the house and stuff like that. You know, windows will be on a privacy fence, so it'll be a nice separate little area for whoever's renting it. And the other half will be the shared shop for us. Now, I will say right here, they put in a septic system right there, and the guy that came in and put it in, he was cursing, because he did say that this has to be the hardest limestone he has ever worked. And it was just dead solid going all the way down. Now, right behind the shop, we are going to have a little porch patio. And that's one of those really cool things that I'm really excited about here, is because we are going to have outdoor storage, and that's going to be kind of a lean-to shed where we can put all our drying bowl blanks. And with the heat in Texas, they should be able to dry out pretty fast back there. And back behind that area, we can keep those logs I was talking about earlier. If you zoom in, I'll give you a rough idea of what we are thinking about the layout, because layout in a, you know, basically it's 450 square feet, the same size as my shop right now, and both of us are going to be in there. So not only are we concerned about the placement of all the tools and stuff like that, but we're going to be working with layers going up the walls, off the ceiling and stuff like that to maximize the use, which I think a lot of y'all will be able to relate to. So here we go. along the back, Dad is going to we're going to have a separate turning section so that both of us can be working in the shop and not just stepping on each other's toes. The back wall will be for his sharpening and his storage stuff, and then his robust lathe. And we're trying to provide 3 to 4 feet for movement around there. In front of that will be the one-way lathe, where if we are both turning at the same time trying to meet a production schedule, we can go there. And offset that, we have our sharpening station. That's where we're going to have several grinders and all that kind of stuff. And I like the idea of having a dedicated sharpening setup. In my own shop, you know, at the end of my workbench, that's where all my stuff is. And on the turning station, I have a separate grinder over there. But since we're sharing it, we can have multiple setups right there. And, you know, even if I'm working hand tools at my workbench, it's not that big a deal to walk across the shop just to sharpen stuff. You're not doing it all the time, unlike on a lathe where you're doing it every few minutes. I am going to, on the other side of the one-way, that's where I'm going to put my table saw. My table saw is on wheels. My main concern has always is in that location is that the table saw is lower than the lathe. So if I'm doing cutting something that's longer than 4 feet, I'm going to have to roll the table saw around so it can push out into open air. But most of my stuff I am not doing that big. I cross cut it, and then, you know, 4 feet, that's a pretty long piece. That's more than a table leg or stuff. And I mainly make small stuff like boxes and cabinets. So I think that'll be just fine. And then below that is going to be my workbench. In this design, I have 2 workbenches. I'm probably not going to do that one because I'm worried about space right now. I'd love to have 2 workbenches at one time, but probably not right now. I will put a table behind me, maybe a foot, 18 inches off the wall, just for storing stuff and putting tools underneath it. But right there we go. And then that whole section towards the front of the shop, in front of the carriage doors that we will be building, I'm putting in as room for rolling tools. All the power tools I have that I keep on casters, we can store them there, and I can just pull them out as I need it. Plus the fact that with the carriage doors there, and we have the carport, just like my shop is right now, that is basically a shop annex. I can roll everything out in the carport area, make a big mess out there, blow it off into the leaf blow all the sawdust into the grass, and there we go. So having the rolling tools by the door just makes sense to me. We also have places for the bandsaw, which both of us use quite a bit. And from there, everything else we can do outside. So let's get back to playing with that Tonka toy. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm really excited about this. Yeah, I've moved shops probably a dozen times in my lifetime. I've been in my last shop for about 5 years. It is always a pain to move a shop. But how many times do you get to design the shop from scratch? Normally it's, You rent whatever space is available, and you just kind of make it work. We're going to be able to do the electrical the way we want, the dust collection the way we want, the layout the way we want. We have all the space to design stuff on the outside, to build a kiln, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm kind of excited. I hope you are too, and you want to follow along. I'm told that next week tomorrow they're going to be building the frame for the pad, and then the concrete will be here the next day or the week after. A week later, the contractor is going to come up and build the building. And then 3 to 4 weeks later, we are going to be able to move in and start doing the finish out. So that's where all the educational content was come along. And that's also the time we will probably start up doing a weekly vlog so that y'all can share the experience of the frustrations we have going along. But as always, I want to remind y'all that content creators like me do this on a value for value proposition. And we have, while a very limited budget build, something expensive we gotta do. So please, check out in the description below all the ways that you can help patronize us, even if it is just spreading the word, so other people can follow along. And I want you to remember that it is always worth the effort to learn, create stuff, and share it with others. Y'all be safe and have fun, because obviously we aren't. What is he doing now?